5 laps on fuel, get as much ground as you can. Robbie Reiser and that pit crew will get you a little more when we make a pit stop.
But Larry, one of the things I'm seeing with this car tomorrow, the box, I like to call it, is there's really so much difference in the good cars and the bad cars. I mean, we're getting Jeff Gordon and Denny Hamlin are coming up on the rear of the field, and that's in 26 laps. So you're going to go a lap down on the 1-mile racetrack in somewhere around 30 laps. That's just hard to believe. And here's Hamlin with the nose looking underneath here. I'm going to make a run at him.
Matt?
The championship point leader has seen almost his entire full second lead diminish, now just trying to hold off the 11. Gordon says the car is beginning to tighten up right in the center of the corner, especially down in turns 1 and 2.
But you know, this is where Jeff Gordon and Steve Letarte have gotten a lot better this year. When the car gets off a little bit, they are able to fix it. Last year when the car get off, he just kept going back. This year they've been able to make the right changes, right adjustments.
But I'm not surprised that cars are starting to get tighter. In other words, the front wheels are sliding more. We're approaching halfway of this run. It's burned the fuel off, so it's gaining nose weight. That hurts the turning of the car.
You saw in the middle of turns 1 and 2, Jeff Gordon eased it back to the throttle, giving Hamlin the bottom of the racetrack, and we have a new leader, Denny Hamlin. Now, last week, David Stremme had a good run.
A little bit of a rest here. They're glowing pretty good.
This week, Stremme's in trouble. He'll be the first car to go 1 lap down.
Now, what I just heard Mike Ford, his crew chief, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, is those guys are somewhat pitting down there kind of close to turn 1. Mike Ford said, I'm starting to see your brake rotors glow. That's another product of this car tomorrow not turning. What these drivers will do, they'll start using more brake to make the car turn, and that actually can make the car push worse because it's going to send the front air pressures up.
Yeah, I heard Mark Martin, a number of these guys say you can't charge down in the corner like we do with our old car. You got to slow it down. How do you slow it down? With the brakes. And that is just multitude of problems when you have to overwork the brakes.
Matt Kenseth trying to finish off the pass for 9th place on Casey Mears, but the National Guard car hanging tough, and now he breathes it into the corner. Kenseth makes the pass.
Big Red right there behind him.
Dale Jr. in 11th, running 29.10s. That's about 0.2 of a second faster than the race leader.
Yeah, and we saw his car in practice. It was pretty darn good on the long runs. We saw him run a lot of laps, and it's starting to pay off.
Jimmy Johnson's in 4th place. He's running 3.2 seconds off the leader, Matt.
And Jimmy will tell you, having a great setup here at Phoenix, Mike, is all about balance, because turns 1 and 2 slightly different than turns 3 and 4. There is shade right now down in 1 and 2, but Jimmy's biggest hindrance, he says, is down in the center of 3 and 4, where it's just way too tight at this juncture. But his car is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, now only 3 seconds back of the leader.
I'll tell you the other thing you got to watch too, Mike, and Larry, is the front wheels. The front wheels are getting darker and darker. That's brake dust. And as that car wears the brakes, that brake dust gets worse and worse, and it can that's an indication in the pit when they change tires how much brake you're using.
No, I know Matt Yoakum just talked about Jimmy Johnson being one of the faster cars. I've been watching this car right here, Martin Truex Jr., the 1 car, Dale Earnhardt's teammate from DEI. His lap times look about as good as anybody sitting back there in 5th position, and he's in a great spot right now. He doesn't have a lot of cars behind him or in front of him. He's just clicking good lap times.
Well, their other teammate, Paul Menard, he just went a lap down. So the information must not have trickled all the way back to the 15.
Denny Hamlin has the lead, but Jeff Gordon is closing back in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 on Fox.
Denny Hamlin from Chesterfield, Virginia, driving number 11 FedEx Chevy.
Caution for debris. Pit road is open. Dick Berggren.
Jamie McMurray had dropped back to the 8th position. The car is loose on entry and tight everywhere else. Matt Yoakum.
Jeff Gordon had fallen back to the 2nd position. The car too tight, making an air pressure adjustment to try to free it up to Krista.
Kurt Busch is loose off of 4, but tight in both ends, the center of the turn. They made an air pressure adjustment. Steve Burns.
Denny Hamlin saying I'm just a little tight on the initial throttle pickup, but I am great getting off the corners. Just a small wedge adjustment on that number 11 car of Denny Hamlin's. A little bit of wedge out of the left rear.
Nice pickup for 2 of the Childress cars on pit road.
Well, there I saw a lot of brake dust out of a bunch of guys' wheels there on that stop. And that's early. I mean, we're 38 laps, and you already got a lot of dust.
And trust me, these crew chiefs will be letting those drivers know about it, too.
Oh, yeah.
A large plastic trash bag had floated out onto turn number 4. That is the reason we are under caution. There is Jimmy Johnson, who dropped 2 spots in the pits, Matt.
Mike, an electrical issue for Jimmy Johnson, who has finished second here on 2 separate occasions. They have changed to the backup battery. He said the first battery was dead. Not exactly sure what their electrical issue is. He's trying to shut off as much electrical stuff inside the race car to conserve the backup battery. Nick?
Denny McMurray's crew had had some terrific pit stops during this week's practice, and they were very optimistic that they were going to give their guy some extra positions on pit road. Did not happen on that first pit stop. The front changer, Todd Ziegler, his air gun quit on that first stop, so it was very slow on the left front because they had to change that gun. McMurray lost lots of spots.
Now, this is quite a tangled web on that 48 car because they're going to have him cut off things that cool him. The other thing, these guys run blowers on the brakes, but we've already talked about all the brake problems. That's going to be the last thing they want to cut off electrical is the blowers that help cool those front brakes.
1 to go, and we'll go green, so it's time for our AT&T Singular Virtual Crew Chief question. Last week we talked about the slow start Casey Kane has had to this season. Will Kane's unfortunate start turn around, and maybe today? Yes or no? David Anders wants to know. So text the word crew to 191 on your AT&T Singular wireless phone. Singular is the new AT&T.
You know,
free pass, Paul Menard, as we get set for the restart.
Just the Dodge camp in general is struggling. You know, 7 races, they only have 1 top 5 finish, Juan Pablo Montoya at Atlanta. So the whole Dodge camp right now has work to do.
I don't know. Ganassi's cars have been decent.
40 cars on the lead lap. 1 lap down are Dale Jarrett, David Reagan, and David Stremme. So first time in prime time for this season. Exercise all that nice surround sound you've got and wake up the neighbors as we crank it up on this restart. Turn 1. David Reagan up and into the wall. Reagan was a lap down and in the midst of onrushing traffic and got in somebody's way.
See Casey Mears in the 25 car there. David Stremme in the 40 car got his first top 10 finish last week at Texas, has moved up to 12th in the points. Got serious problems here.
You see the 6 in the middle there, the AAA car. Jimmy Johnson looking on the inside. Here comes Tony on the outside in the 20. He just loses it. I guess it's mostly just trying to stay off of Tony. Tony was on the outside, and Reagan just kind of lost it trying to stay off of him.
And just nowhere for Stremme and Casey Mears to go. They were in a box.
You see him start to ease up. He knows they're probably telling him Jimmy Johnson's there. He and Tony actually make a little contact. Tony did a good job of hanging on to his piece.
You could see him fighting it in there.
Look at the 17 slide by.
Second week in a row, David Reagan is part of an early incident.
Hey, race fans, you grab the bud, I'll grab the trophy.
David Reagan got the worst of it. Even though there's a lot of right rear damage on Scott Riggs' car, Reagan's car has broken the splitter on the front end.
No,
Casey Mears able to continue.
He split the splitter, which is hard to do. to a splitter.
Good point.
It's already split.
Here's how it happened. Reagan trying to stay off of Jimmy Johnson, gets up and just into Tony Stewart.
That's got to be that they're telling him Jimmy Johnson inside, 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 but they forgot to tell him Tony Stewart outside, outside, outside.
You get a feeling with that shot right there, he never knew that 20 car was there.
No.
Getting ready for the restart. The free pass was Dale Jarrett. 41 cars on the lead lap. David Stremme in the garage from that one, and we get ready to restart. Denny Hamlin, Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick.
Now, inevitably, I know this looks like it's going to be all right, but keep an eye on these restarts, because we always seem to have an accident on a restart before the night's over.
I think it goes back to what you talked about at the top of the show, Darrell. They tend to spin the tires on a restart, and they start chain reaction.
Well, coming off turn 4, it's real wide, but when it gets right here to the pit wall, inside wall, it just narrows down to very little room. So if a guy misses a shift or you happen to get a better start on him, you hit him, and that's when you got trouble.
Martin Truex holding off Jimmy Johnson as they come off 2. But at the dogleg, Johnson has the preferred line and completes the pass in the Lowe's Chevy. Now here's Jeff Burton in the 31 trying to move through traffic.
And just remember, as we look at Jeff Burton in that 31 car, there he is right there. The orange car started back in 31st position. He is battling right now Ryan Newman for the 11th position, trying to join his other 2 teammates to get to the top 10. Quite a run for this 31 car, but as we mentioned, he got a lot of help on his pit stop as well.
He really did, and you can see this is why this is a fun track to race on until you get in a situation like this. And that guy on the inside, Ryan Newman in a 12, they could run like that for the next 30 laps. It's just hard to get by anybody here.
And give a call to that 99 car right there behind these guys.